She gets to wear really nice clothes. Yeah, the costume designer in The Boys, this guy Michael Ground, I really think he's a genius. He's so great, and we communicate a lot, and we have like 4-hour-long fittings, and so in that way, there's like a great elevation of Ashley's wardrobe, which is lovely. But in terms of like feeling like the boss, I mean, it's crazy. I think it's crazy for me, and it's also crazy for Ashley. But I think she knows that she's a tool. She's just being used as like a tool for Homelander to just pass everything through, to have no barrier between him and power.
Yeah.
And I think within that, she like was so excited about getting this job, and then realized very quickly that she is trapped and a prisoner in this job, and she could die at any moment. And I don't think she's asking herself a lot of questions about like whether or not she really needs this in her life. But I think she's like the moon. She always wants to shine off the sun. And so she's always just like trying to stay in the spotlight a little bit. And the higher she gets on the totem pole, she's like, oh, look, a little bit more spotlight for me. So,
that was a great shine like the moon.
yeah, she's like the moon. She likes to shine off the sun.
Yo, right off the sun. Jeez Louise, I'm gonna borrow that.
Jeez Louise.
I did. I say jeez Louise a lot.
Oh, whoopsie daisy. I say jeez Louise all the time. My mother says.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Your second question.
The second part was, how do you feel about working with a character like Homelander or Reggie Franklin that changed from being neutral to now being hated?
Neutral to now being hated.
Neutral to now being hated.
I think we always knew that Homelander was a dickbag. But like, I mean, it's fun. It's really fun playing, the two of us playing on set together, because he's so unpredictable and like wild, and like he's safe. There's never anything that he does that's unsafe. But like, it's not as fun when you know exactly what the person's gonna say and how they're gonna move about the room, and like how they're gonna do this thing that they're gonna say, and like you're just like, oh fuck, how are we gonna? Oh, sorry.
You're fine.
Balls. That's
The
not any
dad gave him the wave. He's like, it's fine. He's heard worse.
Yeah, it's always a blast. Like, I mean, the beauty of The Boys is that we do have a lot of freedom to play around, so it's fun.
That's really cool. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, well, thank you for answering.
Well, thank you. Hi, we got you.
Your character as Ashley kind of went from this timid, quiet, not necessarily background character, to this boss-ass power player. But as you watch through, your tick, where you're playing with your hair, it gets to a point to where you're completely bald.
Oh.
Yeah. What was it like when they said, hey, we're gonna just make you bald? I'm going to call you out on it.
Yeah, I mean, I loved that. It's funny because when we started season 2 and I was brought back and I was so excited. There was nothing in the script that allowed her to blow off some steam. Like, I was like, how about she starts binge eating? And Cricky, our showrunner, was like, that's kind of the Deeps thing. It's like, how about she like starts drinking a lot? And they were like, I don't know, like, and I said, how about she starts like pulling out her hair? There's just something that just like biting her fingernails, or something that feels like a little. And what's amazing about Cricky is that he takes an idea that he likes and he runs with it, and he allows ideas to come from anywhere. And I think that's like a really beautiful part of our set, is that if I'm in a scene and the PA is like, what about this line? I'm like, ooh, cool. Like, it's a welcome, open space.
It's like collaborative, if anything.
Yeah, hugely collaborative. And like, so the fact that he allowed me to pitch that, and that he took it and it became this thing, is like a beautiful, I mean, I'm so happy it became what it became. I thought it was just going to be like a couple things, and then it turned into this like, yeah. And I have to say, like, that scene where I take my wig off, like, I had the prosthetic on, and I like couldn't believe what I looked like, and I waited. They had to like do some fixings and stuff, and I kept hiding on set because I didn't want anybody to see it was in the scene. I wanted them all to be shocked
For the reveal.
They really were. They were like,
It was just so crazy. The minute you mentioned the deep, we got the most adorable giggle from over here. Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's so beautiful. It's crazy.
is there any like behind the scenes stuff or anything that like maybe the us common focus mouth breathers? If you will. Oh, sorry. I put no. We're fine. But but no,
Speak
truly.
for yourself.
I only can. What sort of like, I hate to say it, like it's one of those questions that the press junkets where it's like, do you do pranks? Do you have fun behind the scenes?
Oh yeah, I mean, I know there was a whole thing going on with Carl Urban and Jack Quaid where they were like doing birthday cakes for themselves in like really inopportune spaces, like Jack would get Carl a birthday cake and everybody we would all sing happy birthday to him, and then like a couple months later we would do it again, or like then Carl would get Jack back the same way, and it became this thing. But like pranks, I mean, I don't know. I grew up in a very earnest family, so I can never trust that somebody's gonna take a prank well. So I just make jokes to their face. You
Have
know?
some
like,
fun, yeah. Some safe fun, yeah.
But like I love that actor PJ Byrne who plays Bork, who's the director who directed Dawn of the Seven in the show. He's the guy I have sex with in the toilet. You guys remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I love, with the glasses. Yeah, I love that man. If I was on set with that guy every day, I would be a happy camper. He's just amazing. He's so creative.
That's so cool.
And when we had our sex scene, it was like the first time I've ever had to do a sex scene ever. And it's supposed to be funny, right? Which is fun. It's more fun than having to be sexy, you know?
Like the real or passionate one.
Like,
this one's got a punchline. That is, the sex is the punchline.
Exactly. Like I'm like, pull my hair out, and that's the only way that I can orgasm. That's the joke of the scene.
Yeah.
And it was COVID, and so we were like, we were both in lockdown. When you enter Canada at that time, you couldn't leave. You couldn't even take your trash out for 2 weeks once you came into the country. And so you were like in your house, and they would come and knock on your door and see if you were there. Yeah, it was really intense. And so PJ Byrne was stuck inside, I was stuck inside, and we just like rewrote that scene. We got on Zoom and we rewrote the scene and we watched porn together over Zoom. We were like, oh, this is like toilet porn. They were like, oh, this is how they're having sex in the bathroom. I was like, oh, what about this position? Like, she's doing this interesting thing. I mean, it's with not as kind and as respectful of a person that could have gone really wrong, you know?
It sounds like, again, the good, that you just have such a good collaborative energy again,
yeah,
right? It's just
with
back and forth.
PJ, he's just like, it's all about how can we make this as funny as possible.
Yeah.
And in that way, it's like, how can we give over all our self-consciousness about this, all of our fear about this, and just like do it as weird and as funny. And it was really fun to do that scene.
Yeah. I mean, again, it was like a mile a minute, and like I remember, it's just so funny. The minute you mentioned that scene, I was like, "Ooh, yeah, yeah."
Exactly what
Does anyone here have any other questions? Yes.
Are we going to see more of Ashley in the coming season?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we're shooting season 5. So spoiler, I guess I can tell you I don't die. But I'm going around saying we're shooting season 5, and everyone's like, oh, you don't die. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess.
That's great.
How do you feel about the spin-offs that they've done, like the college and then another one that's going to be coming out?
I think they were great. I haven't seen all of it. I've seen, this is bad. I really should have watched it. I just am it's so violent. Sometimes I need like to take it slow. But I haven't seen the first season in its entirety. But the first few episodes that I saw, I was like, God, these kids are so good. They're all so good, and I'm excited. I'm excited that the world is expanding. Like, I think it's cool that they're exploring other pockets that the boys can't. Like, the boys handles a lot in each season, and they have so many characters, but there's only so much that they can explore, and it's cool to like have it explore other.
Yeah, because it's just like it's like in the wake of like where the show's going. You're like, it just raises natural questions.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what do teenagers do in this world? You
Yeah,
know, or
yeah.
what if they have superpowers to boot?
Yeah, or what if you're raised in this kind of environment? What does that do to you?
Exactly.
In college.
Yeah, that
You
would
know?
like. What do you think your superpower would be in the boys universe?
Ashley's.
Yeah.
I feel like if that were to happen, it would have to be something absolutely humiliating and disgusting.
Like super diarrhea or something.
Yeah, well, I was thinking like acid piss.
Yes!
Yes!
We were on different ends.
Yeah. Like that's what my imagination goes to. But who knows? Like, or like she lassos people with her armpit hair.
Oh my
She's like
God.
boom, like it's like disgusting. It like shoots out. You know, it's gotta be maybe it's hair related.
It's
or
gotta
else
be,
it's
yeah.
like-
You go straight to Cousin It and then back.
Yeah,
Cousin It back.
yeah.
It's like when Meg and Family Guy can only grow their nails so far. And it's back and forth.
Yeah, it's like I know the hair person would absolutely kill me if that was how.
Yeah, if that's where the decision process goes.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Oh, yes.
So, I know that Anthony Starr is not nearly as tall as Homelander actually is. So he's had to wear like platform shoes and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had any scenes where he had to wear those.
Yes,
but, okay.
every scene.
At the beginning, at the very least, I know his acting power is great and he's very intimidating, but like, did you kind of have to get over that? Because I feel like that could make it harder to take seriously or harder for him to be scary while he has to compensate.
Oh, I never
for his-
even. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like so many people wear lifts and we have no idea that it's happening. You know, his boots look like real. They don't look like platforms. They look like just like combat boots. You know.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't. Although that would have been hilarious. It would have been hard for me to take him as seriously if
With that
he was
knowledge in
wearing
your head.
giant like platforms. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen. I have to wear stilettos in that show, and I don't know how to walk in heels. Like I figured it out now, but it's taken me 4 years. So everybody, can't take me seriously at all because I like hobble around like a dinosaur when I'm walking across a stage.
Like a little baby giraffe.
Yeah, it's not cute. So we all have trouble in those suits. I mean, I get lucky because I don't have to wear a super suit. Those super suits are extremely complicated and like sometimes very uncomfortable and hot and like there's all these things that everybody has to do in order to feel comfy in their suit.
Roughly, like how long does it take for them to get into those suits?
It depends. It's I think for some people it takes 20 minutes and then they have a team to help them with all the finishing touches. So like 10 minutes before camera's ready,
Yeah.
after we rehearse and do whatever, they'll start to put all of the like Starlight's cuffs and belt and pouch and
Like all the
boots and
accoutrement and everything.
Yeah.
It's like a pit crew almost, if anything.
yeah, it really is. It's like
yeah.
way to tie it back in.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's right. That's why they barely pay me. So.
But yeah, it's really like the suits are they're amazing and they're so complicated and like
The designs.
the
They're
designs
just
are incredible.
amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Cool.
Ugh. Tell me about it. I saw another hand. Yes. Do you
When I first saw you on The Boys, I thought, where did I recognize her? You were on Jessica Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you were.
Oh, I love that show. What did you learn on Jessica Jones that may have helped you on The Boys?
Good question. When I was on Jessica Jones, it was not my first time on a film set or a TV set, but it was my first time. It was like the biggest thing I'd ever booked, and like 5 episodes. It was big for me, and I had no earthly idea what I was doing, and I was just like, "Whoa, maybe it's just like crazy this way." They were like, okay, sure. Like, they just kind of like let me go, which is really nice of them to do that. But I learned that I sometimes I'm a little slow, when it comes to processing scenes. Like I come from the theater where we have a rehearsal and then we go home and then I digest and then I'm like, oh wait, no, this is it. And then I come back and I try again. And then we go home and we digest and we do that for a month. And then we have the show for 3 months. And each day I'm like learning something new about the scene, you know? When it's bottomless like that, it's like really fun. With TV, you get 10 minutes of rehearsal and then you shoot it and then it's permanent. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't know how to do that. Like,
Can I do that again?
Yeah. Like I learned on between Jessica Jones and Fear the Walking Dead and The Boys, like I've learned how to kind of recreate that for myself and how to let go of a lot of control in that department, but like how to process, how to like allow my brain or my body really to catch up with what the scene is.
Be like more present, if you will, because it like doing film, because I come from theater as well. And it's exactly. I actually heard it from Chris Sarandon this weekend.
Oh, really?
Talking about his time in theater, and he basically said the audience is the living editor.
Yes.
And it adds such a significant.
Well, that's
factor.
their entire character.
Pretty much, yeah. And you play for them, but then at the end of the day, when you're on set for a film or television, it's just a screen. It's just like a little camera, and then 5 other people doing this.
Yeah.
You
or
know?
like this.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's not. You know, you have to just. What's beautiful about film and TV is that whatever comes out of you is recorded. And it's there, and they have it, and then you do another take, and you can do something totally different, and they have it, and they're in control. They can edit it, you know.
Mm.
And with Jessica Jones, I think I was just like, I was treating it like theater, and then I go this way, and I'm in the scene, and then I turn around and I do this, and it's like, wait, the camera has to catch up with you, and this person has to stand right here, and if there's no room for them, then you're talking to an X on the side of the camera, and like all of that, like the technical stuff was like, I was like totally not. Oh yeah, there was a day I had to hit somebody with a 2x4, a foam 2x4, and they didn't have I think they had a stunt person there, but like this one take, it was my face, and they had to have the 2x4 hit the camera at this very specific moment, and I am not a athletic aim person. Like I never played ball, I never played anything where you throw things.
You called it ball.
Baseball.
Yeah, I know the balls.
I never played with balls, like any kind of balls, like the baskets and
the booze
and the base and the foozes,
yeah,
and the
foozes.
tennises. Yeah, I've never done that, so like aim is not my gift. So we were there for like 8 hours, me trying to get this.
But you're on target with your acting.
Oh!
Ooh! I know. I want that horse jacket now too. That's so good.
So it fits in with the goofy, right?
It does.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. It does.
If I wear this, everyone's like, "Oh, she's goofy," and I can be myself.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. I get that. I get that vibe. But you're you're a delight already.
Oh, thanks.
No, we're having a moment. But in front of Rorschach. And he nodded with approval. That was take that with what you will. But do we have any other questions? I want to get everyone. Yeah.
What was a weirder set, Walking Dead or The Boys?
Weirder set.
Weirder set.
Because they were both set, a lot of action, a lot of craziness.
Yeah, weirder.
Now we're gonna know what your definition of weird is.
Yeah, I'm like, what does weird mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's nothing like sitting at lunch with a walker who's trying to feed his face. There's like something really, like, they're like covered in prosthetics, and they're trying to like feed. And all I wanted to do was record them, and there's a very like strict social media, like we don't take pictures of the walkers and living like normal people, right? There was something about that. They just wanted to like keep that.
Don't break the illusion and all that.
Yeah. And all I wanted to do was just be like, this is hilarious. And so in that way, like, it was creepy and weird to like see these people like that kind of, they all go to walker school, like all that stuff was like very crazy.
Yeah,
And
they're also having conversations, I would imagine.
yeah. They're like, oh yeah, I slept well last night, you know.
And their jaw falls off.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
like, but I also, you know, I was thrown in the deep end on that one. Like, I had 45 minutes of horse training the day that I arrived in Austin. I auditioned for it 3 days before. Bye.
Goodbye.
See you later. Bye, Storm. Bye. I auditioned for it like 3 days before I got there, and they're like, "Here, do like a southern accent, and here's ride a horse." And I was like, "Okay, like I don't know." Like I also didn't know that world at all. Like I hadn't, because there was no time to do any research. I hadn't watched the show. I didn't know what I was jumping into, and so I was just kind of
Wow, just thrown right into that. Yeah, I was gonna say the deep end as well. The deep.
Yeah.
Oh, they just left. But that's crazy. Like, because again, it's like having the illusion get broken as well. That's also being on set is kind of that. It's that. But you get the job to keep the magic alive.
Right.
So, what do you think? Like, truly, like, what do you think has been like in your opinion, like your strongest scene? You're like, that's you, Colby. I did it. That's me.
I have to say, like and this is really because of the time I had to prepare. We were shooting. I was given the script for my last episode as Ginny on Fear the Walking Dead. The weekend the day that we shut down for COVID, and it was the weekend before. It was the Friday before we were supposed to start shooting that episode, and they didn't give us the scripts far in advance on that, and so I received that script, and it was like it was like my big death episode, and I had all these monologues and all this stuff. And we got shut down for COVID, and I drove back from Texas to New York, and then I had 7 months to prepare for that, which was my biggest gift. Like, I was like, oh yeah, here we go. Like, and when it was time to shoot that episode, I drove back to Texas, and I stayed in state parks, and I just ran the whole thing, so to the point where I knew it inside. You can know it, but then you can know it,
Yeah.
And so there was a freedom with that, where because I was just sitting in my body for a long time, then you can just it just is in there, so you're quick to tears and you're quick to whatever it is that you need to access for that. And so I'm proud of that episode, and it's very hard for me to say that out loud. Like, I'm proud of this thing.
Yeah, but I pushed you to it.
But that episode, yeah, I was like, oh, if I have enough time, I can do this.
That's your wheelhouse. That's really cool. That is really awesome. We got a question in the back. Yes.
You've talked about your TV. You've talked about your theater.
Will she shut up?
Oh.
I just get it.
No, please do. Compare that to voiceover and or audiobooks that you've done.
Oh yeah, hi guys. I remember you. Yeah, the audiobooks are beautiful because I love doing ADR. ADR is when they don't quite get the sound right on film,
or a plane flies over your line or something. Something ruins the audio, basically.
Right, and you come back and you're like, but what? Just into the microphone, and you don't have to worry about how you look. And you don't have to worry about what your body's doing. You just are like they call this. Now we're gonna get into woo-woo stuff, but they call this the truth chakra. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't if this sounds false, it drives me crazy. Like, if I'm just closing my eyes and I'm listening, it's like I can tell if something sounds fake,
Oh, like genuine vibe from people. It's like, hi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I feel like I'm on the same
it's
wave.
Like, we love you.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah. There's so what I love about that is that you can isolate that and just focus on one thing. And with audiobooks, it's the same. I love doing audiobooks. I've only done 2, as we talked about. But what I love it because you're just you can't go too big in your expression of something with a vocal thing. Like, you could be like, and then she walked into the room and said hi. But when you just hear that, it doesn't sound very good. Yeah, she's shaking her head. She's like, that sounds terrible.
No.
But if you're and then she walked into the room and said hi. It's a different. You have to
that
imbue
inflection.
it with
a little like something or like a
Yeah.
personality, but sincere though. It's always about
Yeah.
that sincerity. Like,
Yeah.
It's very, very crucial.
Yes. And so that's what I love about that is that it's like isolated fun.
Beautiful. Any other questions? Yes.
Out of all the TV shows that you've mentioned that you've worked on, who is the celebrity that you were most excited to meet or work with? There's some big names in all these shows.
Yeah, I mean David Tennant was pretty big for me.
Yo.
I like did like one of these things, like the Harry Potter touch thing.
Oh yeah.
I didn't do it well just then, but on the day I really tried to impress him with that. No, and he was like, oh, no, he wasn't. But I'm sure he gets that all the time from kids my age, you know. At the time I was a child. But yeah, I'm trying to think like the most impressive. I mean, the plays are really where I did a play with Michael Shannon and Jessica Lange, and I did a play with Allison Janney, and I like Gabriel Byrne. I'm just name dropping. Like I'm so sorry. Like pick him up off the floor. But like these Gabriel Byrne, like these actors are like my. I just love them. Like Gabriel Byrne was my crush from Little Women, you know, and to like do a Eugene Levy play.
My favorite one from the 1900s.
Was just like a dream, you know. I'm trying to think of any other. I met John Cleese here, you guys.
Yes.
Can you even believe that guy? He's a legend. He's a legend.
I kid you not. We have a little work room next to the green room, right? And we were in the work room yesterday, and John Cleese just walks in the room, you know, and we're all working on different things, and all of a sudden he just comes in. He goes, "Well, this isn't the green room. I'm not that old." And he walked out, and I was like, "Did we just enter a Monty Python sketch?" Holy shit! And I ran to him like, "Got a picture."
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Again, it's just like I imagine now at this point, it's just a matter of time that inevitably people are going to be like you, as in like go to you, you know. It's gonna get there, but you'll take it with a plum. I feel like.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, you got this, kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, just you know what? 'Cause you got 2 horses in the race, baby. So we're almost at the end, unfortunately, but I know. Fuck you, time. Usually I like to end these panels usually with for the guests to have an open floor to say whatever is on the top of your mind. If it's words of advice, a joke, whatever you want to say, because it's not too often you get a chance to talk to directly the fans.
Oh, okay. I have a joke. Unless there's something you guys really want to know about.
Are you named after somebody? Colby's such a different name.
I'm sorry. It's cheese.
It is cheese. I always say Colby like the cheese. My parents didn't name me after a cheese though. It's 3 family names. So it's like Luther. Oh no, that's a different guy. Abigail Colby was they were gonna name me Abigail, and then they're like, no, Colby. And then I'm named after this guy Luther McCutcheons, which is my middle name, McCutcheons.
Oh.
Can you believe it? And then my father, William Minifie. But yeah, it's like a bunch of family stuff. It sounds fancy. It sounds very goofy. It's like, do we want this kid to be as weird as humanly possible? Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Oh man.
Should I tell my joke or no?
I'm so down.
Okay.
So
All right,
down.
here we go. It's raunchy. Alright, so there's a fly flying above a lake, and he's like, doo doo doo, and there's a fish under the lake. Do you know this joke?
I'm so excited.
There's a fish under the lake, and he's like, oh man, if that fly just came down just about 4 inches, I could reach up and grab the fly and have a really nice lunch. And then there's a bear on the shore of the lake, and he's like, oh man, if that fly just came down 4 inches, the fish would grab the fly, and the bear would grab the fish, and I would grab the fish and have a really nice lunch. I jumped ahead. And then there's a hunter on the shore of the lake, and he's like, if that fly just came down 4 inches, the fish would grab the fly, the bear would grab the fish, and I could shoot the bear and have a really nice lunch. And then there's a mouse at the campsite, of the hunter on the shore of the lake. And he's like, oh man, if that fly just came down 4 inches, the fish would grab the fly, the bear would grab the fish, the hunter would shoot the bear, and I could have that hunter's cheese sandwich and have a really nice lunch. And then there's a cat. And the cat's like, oh, if that fly just came down 4 inches, the fish would grab the fly, the bear would grab the fish, the hunter would shoot the bear, the mouse would go for the cheese sandwich, and I could eat that mouse and have a really nice lunch. So the fly is flying around, and he's like, maybe I'll go down toward the lake a little bit. And he goes down toward the lake about 4 inches, and the fish reaches up, grabs the fly. The bear takes the fish and starts eating the fish. The hunter goes to shoot the bear, and then the mouse goes for the hunter's cheese sandwich, and he senses something behind him, and he looks behind him, and he sees the cat, and he's like, oh fuck. And so he runs straight into the lake, and the cat runs straight into the lake after him. Just goes to show you, when the fly comes down 4 inches, the pussy gets wet.
Oh!